Hello everybody, Triple here, and welcome back to Unforseen Threats, a series where I take a Pokemon that I think could be OU viable, and I basically give my explanation as to why. And today we have a pretty interesting one, Sharpedo. Um, I don't even know, it's RU, so it's not even that low. It's like right up with Araquanid and monsters like that I often use in OU. And Sharpedo has actually a pretty interesting spot here. In one thing in particular, everybody knows this Pokemon because of Speed Boost. It's Speed Boost and it can sweep like a lot of teams. And that's mainly because it has so much coverage. If we look at OU right now, it beats so many of the Pokemon here. I think at +2, at +1, it outspeeds and kills Barraskewda outside of range. It can close combat Bisharp. It can stab Blacephalon, either Water or Dark Works. Blissey doesn't have the best defense. It has Psychic Fangs for Buzzwole. Stuff like Clefable is a bit challenging, but even then it has, I believe, it has Poison Jab. Corviknight, I don't think it has the best means to hit. Dragapult's Crunch is gonna do a chunk and probably even kill, and I also think it outspeeds at +1 actually. Hold up. Let's actually check that. Dragapult Specs, sure. Versus Sharpedo. Hope. What? Okay, this is kind of spoilery about what I wanted to talk about later. Cleaner. At +1. Look, this is Adamant, and it outspeeds at +1. So Dragapult gets outsped. Same with Zeraora, who is further down here. Dragonite doesn't like taking an Ice Fang or even a Blizzard. Ferrothorn is kind of a decent check. Garchomp, same Ice Fang. Water Stab in like Waterfall or Liquidation against Heatran. Kartana, it can outspeed if you protect the first turn. You can outspeed it. Lando doesn't like the Ice Fang. Magnezone, actually very interesting. Earthquake. Same with Melmetal. Neither of them likes taking Earthquake. Crunch, Poison Jab. Pelipper might switch in decently. Rillaboom has, of course, priority. Slowbro doesn't like Crunch. Poison Jab, Poison Jab, Poison Jab. Can live one, but takes a lot of damage from Crunch. Psychic Fangs, Close Combat. Psychic Fangs, Crunch, Earthquake, Waterfall, Close Combat. Ice Fang to an extent, but more likely switch out, and Earthquake. So if we think about this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the current OU Pokemon can switch in reliably on this. And that's where the difficulty lies with this Pokemon. It has so many options that you can't really cover all of them with your team. You need to like really be ready for things. And it really shows with some of the like specific stuff he has. He has like Zen Headbutt, which is a nice bounce for grass types. Very useful actually. Also bounce does very well against the Buzzwole that was mentioned earlier. And then it even has like random Scale Shot. What else does he have? It has a Poison Fang, which Poison Fang was actually better than Poison Jab back when it had a Mega, but it doesn't anymore. Fury Cutter could be potentially useful versus Dark types, although most of the time Close Combat is going to be better for that. Simple stuff like Aqua Jet and Flip Turn make this a whole lot more viable. Same with Facade actually. And like I said, the simple, like, it has double stab, it has liquidation, crunch, it has close combat, it has earthquake, it has psychic fangs, it has poison jab. That makes it insanely hard, with ice fang, makes it insanely hard to switch into. Yes, this Pokemon is a glass cannon, but that often doesn't matter, which is the interesting part. And these stats also don't, like, they're not huge. Like, its defenses are specifically not that good. But it doesn't, like, what it does kind of well. It has 95 speed, which at +1 allows it to outspeed most Pokemon that aren't also Scarfed. And at +2, you outspeed even Scarfed mons. So that's a very, like, decent speed there. And then 120 attack actually makes you very, like, capable to sweep with. And even then, you have physical walls. You have access to Blizzard, Dark Pulse, Hydro Pump. It has access to, let me actually just category special. Ancient Power could potentially be very nice. Ice Beam. Scald. Ice Beam Scald is nice. Mud Slap. And you don't want to use Mud Slap, but it's there. It has some special options. That's why, like, the calculator showed a mixed set, which is a very interesting thing. And like I said, it covers most of the meta, and then it has some tricks up its sleeves, because Destiny Bond. Say your team really struggles with the Rillaboom, a simple a simple Custard Berry Endure Destiny Bond will beat Rillaboom, because it both has a priority, which a Custard Berry would outspeed that, because 95 is, I believe Rillaboom is 90. 85. So you're faster than Rillaboom, so your priority goes first. You get the Destiny Bond, they Grassy Glide, and they're dead. So stuff like that is also potentially, like, really like a surprise that you could use. This Pokemon has a lot of that. It has so many options that you can't ever be sure what it has. It has access to Taunt, which a fast Taunter would beat a lot of the walls. For instance, very simple, Sharpedo. Boom. You have a set that beats Toxapex. Or like Blissey, or like other defensive wills. You might want to run Waterfall over, like, Crunch, maybe, because a lot of the high defense mons are rock types, but, like, Pex won't like you if you can trap it and then taunt it. Same with Blissey. Blissey does sometimes run teleport, but still, it, like, this set, surprising, like, you wouldn't expect Whirlpool on this. This set would 1v1 Pex. And the funny thing is, it also has Rough Skin, which is a decent ability. You could run Rocky Helmet plus Rough Skin with, like, Endure, because that's what we did here. And then you get a guaranteed quarter of their health if they're touching you. And you can just, like, abuse that, because Endure plus, where is it? Flip Turn. You Endure, you get the chip you want, and then you Flip Turn out, and you're just gone. It's like, for like niche Pokemon, this is pretty, like, straightforward in what it does. Bulldoze could potentially be nice. It's fairly straightforward in what it does, but it does it pretty well. Oh, I forgot, by the way, Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb could be very nice too. It would hit Tornadus and Volcarona a lot better. which is something you would need to watch out for. Where is it? Fast Swagger could ruin someone. Because, yeah, if it's like a special attacker and you swagger them, it would like really mess them up. I'm gonna check here, because I already mentioned that these all got beaten. Earthquake, Crunch, Psychic Fangs, Crunch, Psychic Fangs. Although Como can likely live one. Crunch, Psychic Fangs. I mean, Liquidation probably would do the most to this. Tracheon won't like a Liquidation or an Earthquake. Thunderous won't like a Liquidation, although it will live. And Zapdos wouldn't like a Psychic Fangs. Like, I'm just going down this list, and like most Pokemon on this list don't like taking a hit from this Pokemon. Which puts it in a very interesting position, almost like the same like Kartana. Where like it's a very strong Pokemon that has so many options and is very hard to switch into, that has a few choice counters. One really interesting example is Moltres. Moltres is able to almost always come in on Kartana. Sharpedo acts very much in the same way. Late game, if you play your cards right, like it's very easy to cover this mon's weaknesses, because what is it, like fighting, bug, both fighting and bug get countered by a fairy type, and then electric and grass, which both get countered by a dragon type. So with a simple like Dragon Fairy Steel core, you basically have this covered. It's like, how do I explain? It's like very simple to get a sweep with this. Other very good option for Sharpedo is because it doesn't need to run a Scarf because of Speed Boost, you can run a Choice Band, which makes this set, let me check if this is actually right. And then like Earthquake makes this set very strong if you get it in on like pivot teams. This one is really like great, because say you U-turn on a fire type, you get this in and you force stuff out with a flip turn. But if you don't force stuff out with a flip turn and you make the prediction right, you will then outspeed whatever they're switching in. So that makes a set like this very potent. This actually very interesting. I'm actually making this liquidation. Let's do fast physical anyway. It doesn't need. Although on the other hand, like Speed Boost here, Speed Boost leftovers for a stall set. This traps Toxapex, kills it, and by the time you've killed the Toxapex, you'll be at like +3 speed, making you always capable to taunt something and always capable to hit something afterwards. The only problem with this set is you refill your hand. Like I said, having all these options is like the biggest part of the mind game. Which as a draft player, this is something that applies to me a lot, is whenever I see a Pokemon, I start going through its entire kit. Random example, Buzzwole. I don't just think, oh, what does this Pokemon do? It hits me with Bug or Fighting. No, I go through the entire move pool. Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, Darkest Lariat, Ice Punch, Iron Head, Outrage, Poison Jab, Rock Slide, Thunder Punch, Dual Chop, Payback, Revenge. Those are all things you need to keep in mind, and until like all 4 move slots are revealed, you will not know what your opponent has, and that's what Sharpedo really thrives at, in having options for a lot of the Pokemon, but you won't know which of your Pokemon you actually can switch in without them having something for it, because 4 move slots in them. Which makes your opponent play very careful and can really lead to some, like, if you like play hard on that, and stuff like Flip Turn also really helps with that. And if you keep, like, if you use the same 2 attacks over and over, your opponent will, for the rest of the game, stay unsure of what you have. Which, that's a pretty big thing to play around in Pokemon. And that's what also makes this Pokemon so fun. Let me see, what else can we think of here? A very, like, good item on this is always Focus Sash. This Pokemon, like, actually benefits of a lot of items. AV could potentially be good, but it is a glass cannon, so don't really see stuff like that. Defensive items are not gonna be the biggest deal. Choice Band is very good, same with Choice Specs, honestly, because Dark Pulse and Hydro Pump and Ice Beam are still very strong options. Expert Belt is nice, Piggy Berry, Custap, like I said, is a pretty solid item. Heavy Duty Boots on this Pokemon, surprisingly good with how little HP it has. Like, it's good to negate spikes or T-spikes or webs. Most importantly, webs. Sash is solid. Life Orb is another one of those things that's really, really powerful. Adrenaline Orb could be good. If we're talking actually good items, the Mirror Herb that's coming out in Gen 9 could make Sharpedo insanely powerful. Because say your opponent belly drums on you, on the turn you switch in Sharpedo. That means you have a belly drum boost on this, and you immediately get a speed boost, which makes this from, like, okay to really strong. Something I didn't touch on yet, Super Fang. Super Fang plus Roar could lead to some really good shenanigans. Because if you have, like, Roar, Protect, Super Fang, I guess Crunch, this plus a Rock Setter could be very annoying to deal with. Because, like, say you have Toxic Spikes, you Toxic them, then Toxic them, then switch this in and Roar whatever's coming in, and that lands on the Toxic Spikes, and so forth and so on, which makes it a very interesting Pokemon. Let's see, Dragapult and Zeraora, which are 2 of the fastest Pokemon in this tier. Hold up, let me actually... Oh, you! The fastest Pokemon in this tier is Regieleki. Regieleki, if we're being honest, is not gonna happen. We're not outspeeding that. Actually, hold up. No, I want to know now. Oh, Regieleki is... Okay, no, never mind. Max speed, damage versus +2 and adamant. No, not hell, not bashful. Adamant. We outspeed at +2, which if we switch this in, they switch in Regieleki, we get a speed boost. We protect on their attack, we outspeed. And from that point, Earthquake easily KOs. Most of its attack have a chance to KO. Earthquake easily KOs. I like how all 3 of these do the same. So yeah, that makes it like very hard. Ninjask doesn't like the Rock Tomb. Same with Excelgor. Zera, Earthquake, Crunch. Probably Crunch. Let me actually check. Barracuda. Yeah, no, Crunch just straight up kills it. Tapu Koko doesn't like a poison jab. Crobat. I can check that. Crobat. With the... Because, yeah, the likely thing it goes for is U-turn. If we outspeed it and we... Psychic Fangs it. That has a chance to KO, actually. Huh. That's really good. With rocks or like knockoff or something, that actually just straight up kills. Aerodactyl doesn't like Waterfall, Earthquake, Waterfall, Close Combat, Poison Jab. And the thing is, everything on this list outside of Regieleki, double check. +1. For 60. Okay. Correction. Everything on this list except Regieleki and Ninjask. This Mon outspeeds at +1. Which makes it like very strong. And besides that, it outspeeds a lot of other Pokemon that would run Scarf. Because when you come to like Choice Scarf territory, it's all like 80 to 100. Like range. Because the rest is seen as fast enough. Which makes this Pokemon able to beat most Scarfers. It's like... It's surprising because this Pokemon obviously rated as poor, and if we look at its tier, even in its home tier, it has very little answers. Like Golisopod and Incid, like mostly Golisopod. Golisopod will stay in the answer to it, and First Impression does ruin it. Klefki also pretty decent switch in, but beyond that, it actually has very little switch-ins. Weezing. Weezing is a switch-in. But again, it's home tier. It should be ruining like the entire tier, but I don't believe I've often seen it. I don't know like why people sleep on it so hard. Sharpedo is a Glassconin, but it's good. And honestly, I feel like it deserves more respect. I'm kind of sad that Megas are gone, because then I would have been able to talk about how good this Pokemon's Mega was. Because if we just look at this, it goes from 120 to 140 and a 105 speed with Strong Jaw, which would make moves like Psychic Fang, Crunch, Ice Fang insanely powerful. This Pokemon was like an insane threat to deal with. Which also made stuff like, hold up, let's grab a normal Sharpedo. Stuff like Substitute, really good on this, because you could farm speed boosts, and then Mega kill something while still behind your sub, and that would be insanely powerful. It's like weird. Because even Sharpedo Mega was never really seen as an insanely good Pokemon. But it was one of my favorite Megas to use, right alongside like Beedrill and Altaria. Let me just like start here with a little team, because I feel like a simple like a simple set on this can really just show what I mean. Because the most common set would be something like this. You lose out on close combat and stuff like Rock Tomb, which is a shame. Also, Flip Turn would be very, very nice on like Choice Band. But let's, for the example here, go Life Orb. Life Orb Speed Boost is one of the best sets for this Pokemon. The only thing switching in on like this would be, let's see, other dark types mostly. Let's see, dark. Not even most of them. Most of them can't really touch too much. Hydreigon is a potential problem, but again, it can have CC, which makes it very hard to predict. But just in case, we grab a fairy type. There's plenty of really good fairy types in this tier. Even below it, there's some really, really solid ones. Now, let's see. Fairy types. Let's switch in on dark types. Well, I'm looking at Coco. I feel like I should be looking at Bulu. Bulu seems like a very strong Pokemon to pair this with. Plus these two next to each other. Hold up. Actually, I might go Coco. Because U-turn. It lures in ground types, U-turns out, and then Sharpedo comes in and has very little switch-ins. U-turn also means if I U-turn out into something, it will get a speed boost afterwards and immediately be a threat on the field. T-Bolt, Dazzle, and probably Defog actually. Unless I want a Rapid Spinner. I might want a Rapid Spinner, hold up. Do I want Roost? I want Roost. Or do I want Choice Specs? Let me just, like, play it safe. Not bulky. Speedy. Change this actually. No, don't do comment actually. That's not smart. It's either Boost or Grass Knot. Or actually Taunt. Taunt could be good. Sure, Taunt. Let's see. These two together make for a pretty solid core. And actually, you know what? Choice band. We have the double. I like Flip Turn over Liquidation because then you can like pivot with both of these. A Dragon type. Actually, hold up. A Rapid Spinner. Let's see. What do we have here? We can of course run Excadrill, which is a always solid Pokemon. Hitmontop could actually be pretty nice with how bulky it is. Okay. Steel types. Let me first look at a steel type, preferably one with good Spadef. Ferrothorn, of course, really solid. Heatran, of course, very solid. What steel type? A steel type that can come in well on grass types, which would mean like Corviknight probably, or Salsila. Steela versus Corviknight. Corviknight has a Roost though. Yeah, okay, Corviknight. Just standard Roost Defog. Probably Roost Defog. Brightboard U-turn? Body press? Backward U-turn. Defensive. A good Spadef Pokemon. Good round do be looking tempting. Because it's fat. Latias could potentially be really good. Whisper, Sylveon, Dogauchi do be fat. Hold up, let me look at giant types. Wow. Sliggoo is more bulky than most of the OU viable giant types. Kyurem is of course in... Garchomp is always very solid. I feel like if we make this 252 Spadef, if we make this Spadef plus Rocky Helmet, Brush Skin, Stealth Rock, Giant Tail, Toxic, and EQ. That's a very good Pokemon to have here. I feel like I do want Brass Knot on this. Add Pokemon. Very advanced Steel Core we have now. Sharpedo doesn't deal well with... Okay, Rillaboom we covered with Corviknight. Pelipper and Corviknight itself we covered with Coco. Same with Thorn. Zapdos we kind of have covered with Garchomp. Scarflele is a speed type. And we have Spadef Corviknight, so I feel like that's fine. Kartana... A fire type would probably be a good idea. Actually... Volcanion. And then probably a fast Scarfmon. That's good against OU. I don't know if this is the play anyway. Hold on, fire types. Something like a Blaze actually. A choice Scarf plus Cephalon. After Sharpedo is done with you, this Pokemon becomes hard to deal with. Trick just for utility. And potential Mind Blown. Do we want Mind Blown? I guess. This one gets so droppy. Damn. Okay, so we have Blaze in there, and then Dark Fairy Fighting, maybe? A fighting type? Biswall is a potential option for that. Let's see, fighting types. Urshifu, Hawlucha, Terrakion is an option. Zapdos, we have a flying type already. Conkeldurr could be good. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Mag Punch, Drain Punch, Knockoff, Flame Orb Guts, because of course. And let's see what else for coverage. Poison Jump, I guess. There we go. very like offensive, like balanced offense team, with like two pretty heavy like defensive mons, but a lot of pivoting, which makes Sharpedo really stand out a lot, because you can't really predict what it's going for all too well. And if you make the wrong prediction, you could lose a Pokemon for it, which makes this like a very powerful team. Late game, we have Mech Punch, which could potentially be very strong. Conkeldurr is bulky enough to lift most hits, so a Drain Punch or Knockoff or Poison Jab from Guts boosted Conk will hurt a lot. We have endgame Blacephalon to clean up, and as Sharpedo to just kind of punch holes in the team. With Live Orb, it becomes like increasingly hard to switch into, because you have to worry about so many of the threats that you can have that it really becomes hard to predict. And if you predict wrong, like say you predict I'm gonna crunch you, so you bring in your Hydreigon and I instead flip turn and bring in my Coco, you're in a very bad position. You have to switch out, which gives me a free U-turn, and from there you can just kind of play however you need, which makes this very interesting. Sharpedo puts a lot of pressure on your opponents. But yeah, that's why I personally think Sharpedo should be like better. Like it should be higher regarded. And I definitely think in OU this really holds its own well. It's 2 tiers lower, but in OU this Pokemon isn't like some like basically, what am I trying to say? I don't know words. Some fodder. It's not fodder. It can really hold its own. So, with that, I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.